Howdy, Rasmanites. Today, we take a look at the network pilot for Dollhouse entitled Ghost. That's coming up right now on the Razman's Reality. Okay, let me just quickly reiterate here that I'm not going to be talking about who plays who. I'm not going to be doing any sort of character analysis. That will come in the final episode of this series. But due to the 10-minute time limit, we just need to be talking about the episode itself and whether or not it worked in the first 14 versions. Well, in the 14 versions of the episode-by-episode breakdown, not the first. These will be the only ones. So, episode 1 for the network pilot, Ghost. Show opens up on a camera shot through a security camera, and we meet Adele, the boss, and Caroline, the troubled youth. And Caroline is furious. She's arguing about her situation. She's saying, I never wanted to be here. I just wanted to make a difference. And Adele is like, are you volunteering or not? And Caroline's like, I don't have much of a choice. So, without being able to really get in depth again because of this time limit, let's fast forward a little bit to the next shot that we see. And that is two motorcycles racing down the street. The motorcycles actually run themselves into a nightclub. Two people get off. It's a guy and a girl. Who's the girl? Yeah, that's right, you guessed it. It's Caroline. Caroline's talking about how she let him win, best 2 out of 3. It's clear that they're on a date and they're having a nice, fun time. Well, we fast forward again just a little bit. The guy hands Caroline a charm necklace and says, hey, I want you to have this to remember me by, or something cheesy like that. I don't remember the exact line. But Caroline takes it, says, it's lovely. Says it's more than a date to her. She really has feelings for him. On and on and on. Well, then he goes off to get a drink or something similar to that. And Caroline suddenly has this urge to walk off. And we see this van, and someone gets out of the van. It's a black gentleman. And the black gentleman says, are you ready for your treatment? And Caroline says, I think it's time. And so she gets in the van with the black gentleman, who we later learned is named Boyd Langton, a former cop. Well, her and Langton get to talking about the date and about what goes on and how she really thinks this guy is the one and all of that. And Langton apparently is very happy for her. Well, then they arrive at a building and she gets out. Obviously, this is where the treatment, quote unquote, takes place. And she says to Boyd, she says, can you wait here and I can go back after my treatment? I have to tell him that I'm in love with him. And Boyd's like, I'll be right here. So we then go down into an area that's very technical, and we meet Topher, who's the computer guru of the Dollhouse. And he says, can you please have a seat? And she has a seat in a chair, kind of like a dentist chair, lays her back flat down. Topher hits a few buttons on his computer, the chair lowers down, and he says to the girl, I forget the character name at this point that she was actually playing, but he says to the girl, who we still believe is Caroline, because she actually didn't have a character name. Sorry about that, forgot. But we still believe this girl's Caroline. And he says to her, this may sting a bit. Topher does. And we see a effect, and it's a flashback about 1,000,000 miles an hour of her entire situation with this guy, how they met, their relationship. The last shot we see is the locket falling, that the guy gave her, falling to the ground. Chair tilts up. Topher says, hello, Echo, how are you feeling? Echo looks over and says, did I fall asleep? Topher goes, for a little while. Echo's like, shall I go now? And Topher says, if you like. And she gets up and walks away. So what did we just see? We saw Caroline become Echo, a mindless girl with no personality and no memory. So that's the big shock of this show, is that these girls are getting their personalities / memories completely wiped clean so they can be programmed via the computer to be anything we want or need them to be. Talk about a trippy concept. If you guys saw my Reanimator review for the cigarette burns, you saw me talk about similarities between reanimation and what goes on Dollhouse. Now you know what I meant. Crazy, crazy stuff. It turns out that Boyd is Echo's handler. He makes sure that whatever mission, whatever personality imprint that she gets, he monitors her from that van and makes sure she doesn't go haywire or go off mission. So, the first mission that you see is, again, a romantic engagement, a guy's fantasy. The main mission of the show is a client comes to the Dollhouse and says that his daughter's been kidnapped. So Echo then gets imprinted with the personality of a woman who is an expert in kidnapping and getting people back after they've been kidnapped. We then learn through the course of the show that these aren't just random personality imprints that the dolls get imprinted with, but they're actually personalities, like I said, of real people in some form or another. And the reason this is key is that the girl is actually saved by Echo because Echo has memories and flashbacks of what happened to this woman. And the reason that the show is entitled Ghost is because one of the kidnappers is actually a kidnapper who kidnapped this woman who Echo has the personality of. And he used to say the line, you can't fight a ghost. So what we learn is that these aren't just random missions, and they actually have a purpose and a meaning, whatever the client needs. And we learn that they aren't random personalities, that they're actually driven by real people and real experiences. And in the end, it all works out. The girl is saved. No harm done. The little girl that was kidnapped. So all in all, I give this pilot a 10 out of 10. I thought it was a great pilot for the show. You're absolutely... Oh, sorry. And a bit of a sinus drainage going on there. But you're absolutely taken aback when you learn what the Dollhouse does. But then, as you watch this episode, you begin to think a little bit and wonder, wow, maybe I should have sympathy for what this place is doing. Maybe it's not so bad after all. Does it stay that way? Well, you'll have to wait till the next episode to find out where Josh Whedon takes it. This is reality according to the Razman and Razman style. It's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.